There's the El Matador. He is running away from Babu. Tell him sign the gun contract. Spain, Hawaii.
I respect him, but he knows what's coming. You will see. You will see.
For the past 4 years, it's been a UFC tradition to bring a huge pay-per-view event to Abu Dhabi every October. This year, on October 26th, we're in for another exciting card with some of the biggest names in the sport. The rising star of the featherweight division, Ilia Topuria, is back and facing what could be his toughest fight yet against the legendary and now official BMF Max Holloway.
You know what I'm looking forward to more than any? Holloway and Topuria. That's the one for me. Because I see that fight, I go, I don't fucking know. Ilia's hands are some of the most impressive hands in the sport. Everything, no wasted motion.
But here's the thing with Max's movement. Max ain't gonna be there for that. We'll see who's the best boxer.
I was getting ready to say, you're gonna find out.
It's the flashy, undefeated phenom against a battle-tested warrior in every sense of the word. Will Topuria's rising stardom and unstoppable streak reach new heights, or will the unbreakable Max Holloway, who refuses to fade, start his second reign at 145 pounds?
He did what he had to do. Now we're here, He gets to face the Bless Express come October 26th, and we're about to see what happens.
Bless Express, it's over, my friend.
Can't
Bring
see
your
it.
pillow.
Wait.
Bring your pillow for the fireworks. Trust me, I'm gonna take you head off.
In the co-main event, Khamzat Chimaev finally makes his return, and he's up against one of the toughest opponents possible, Robert the Reaper Whittaker. A fight this big deserves 5 rounds, and the winner will be a major contender in middleweight title picture.
With this matchup, I feel like Khamzat, he's coming into this fight with a little something to prove. He beat Usman, but he's going against a very tough Robert Whittaker, who's still in a hunt to be champion. So this fight's going to be absolutely amazing.
Let's go!
This card is stacked from start to finish, but these 2 matchups at the top steal the show. Let's dive into some of the most anticipated fights of the year at UFC 308. Trust me, this event is going to deliver.
This will deliver, I guarantee. A force unlike anything the fight game has ever seen. Here is Khamzat Chimaev, the Chechen Swede.
No one made a splash in the UFC quite like Khamzat Chimaev when he exploded onto the scene in 2020. After just a few fights, people were already calling him the next Khabib, and he looked ready to become the UFC's next big star.
I've never seen anything like him. He's special, he's different. When you're a fight fan, a guy like this is the type of guy that you love to watch and follow.
Choo choo, because I'm the conductor of this train, baby. Give him a title shot. Give him a title shot. He's ready.
Khamzat quickly dominated his opponents at both middleweight and welterweight, but eventually decided to focus on welterweight. After making his first 4 fights look effortless, he finally faced a real challenge in Gilbert Burns, who was able to make him look human for the first time.
You have to give respect for that guy, tough guys. Dropped him hard, and I tried to finish him, but I didn't give up. I tried to punch back, when he was dropped, and you have to give respect for these guys.
At that point, Khamzat was close to a title shot, but out of nowhere, the UFC lined him up against Nate Diaz, who many saw as a sacrificial lamb.
How big is Diaz following? It's huge. He's got a huge following. So if you get Khamzat to beat Diaz, then you kind of get Diaz's following to Khamzat. They know exactly what they're doing. They're geniuses.
It was meant to be an easy chance for Khamzat to boost his reputation at UFC 279, but then all the drama unfolded.
178 and a half.
Oh my God.
The fights have been rearranged.
The new card now, Khamzat Chimaev will fight Kevin Holland.
He didn't make weight. He blamed it on the doctor stopping him, and then he's flipping off the crowd, and he's talking shit. We have never seen Kevin Holland get ragdolled, destroyed in 1 round, and that's what happened.
From that point, the chaos kept building. Khamzat dominated Kevin Holland at a catchweight, but he still hadn't faced a real challenge at middleweight. Then, with all the injury drama leading up to UFC 294, there was another last-minute opponent switch, and Khamzat ended up facing former welterweight champ Kamaru Usman.
As I'm sure he's excited for the matchup.
So am I.
I don't care about he being the champ or all the who has to go to the cage and fight,
Khamzat dominated Usman in the first round, using his clear size advantage. But after that, he slowed down noticeably and nearly gave up his lead.
Now, Kamaru Usman, as he left the ring, one of the things that was offered to him when asked to take the fight was a 5-round fight. And he said it as he walked out, I messed up. I should have fought in 5 rounds.
Fast forward to June of this year, and more issues forced Khamzat out of a big fight where he was finally set to face a top middleweight again. His opponent now is Robert Whittaker at UFC 308. What started as a quick rise to the top has been filled with inconsistencies due to travel problems, sickness, and more. His mystique doesn't feel the same, but he's still undefeated and has a chance to regain that momentum if he can beat Robert Whittaker. However, Whittaker, one of the greatest fighters in the sport at a top middleweight, could derail everything Khamzat has left.
Whittaker versus Khamzat is legit. That's a real fight for Khamzat because Whittaker's a big dude, former champion.
My goal in martial arts is to live up to my own potential because I know how good I am. I'm the most dangerous middleweight on the planet, and everyone knows that.
From 2014 to 2018, Robert Whittaker had an incredible run that made us think he was destined to be a long-reigning king in the middleweight division. But as fate would have it, that crown eventually passed to the next challenger for his throne.
Adesanya isn't as good as he
Thinks he is. I remember that. I was just like, I bet. I'll show you how great I think I am.
We went in there, we butted heads, and I came off second best tonight. That's just how it is at these high-stake fights. You know, I'm not going anywhere though.
Over the past 10 years, Robert Whittaker's only losses have been to former champion Israel Adesanya and the new champion Dricus du Plessis. Yet, every time he falls, he comes back stronger, proving he deserves another shot at redemption.
A guy like Whittaker, when you look at how advanced his entire game is, you realize it's like, dude, he's graduated past everybody else that's not a former champ, basically. Like, they can't do anything to him.
When you look back, Robert Whittaker boasts one of the most impressive presumes on the roster. With 22 fights in the UFC, he's eager to take on anyone they offer him, even if it means facing young, dangerous contenders on short notice.
Most would not have even taken this fight. You raise your hand right away and say, give him to me.
Because I'm the best in the world, mate. I'm the most dangerous middleweight in the world. I'll take a fight anywhere, anytime, and I'll prove it tonight, I'll prove it again, and I'll fight anyone.
Are you getting better?
I think I am, mate. The UFC want to keep throwing them at me, throwing the sheep at me, so I'm throwing the lambs. I'm just going to keep slaughtering them, mate.
Whittaker is still in a position where he can not only challenge for the title again, but actually reclaim it. He'll likely get another shot if he can hand Khamzat Chimaev his first loss at UFC 308.
You know, I asked for the fight. Straight after the last fight, I was like, I'll fight Chimaev again. Chimaev is a hard fight. He's obviously a big draw, especially over there in Abu Dhabi. And I think the UFC, story-wise, they want to see Chimaev like up the top of the ladder. They want to see him in that picture. But I love disrupting their plans. I love derailing their stories.
As usual with Khamzat, he'll likely rush at Whittaker like a madman and try to take him down as quickly as possible. But if that's his plan, he better hope it works. Whittaker's experience and tactical approach over 5 rounds could be a nightmare for Khamzat. Plus, you have to consider the momentum Whittaker has compared to all the lingering questions about Khamzat's health.
Do I believe, brother, that I can go out there and smash this guy? Yes, he could. But what if he can't? What if he empties the tank? What if he gives everything he's got to get that finish and Robert Whittaker is still standing? He could be f***ed.
The general consensus is going to be that Khamzat is going to have a major advantage on the ground if he gets it down there. He's like a Tasmanian devil for the first round, and on the feet, it should go to Robert Whittaker. Whittaker should be able to target him pretty well, but Khamzat always has the power advantage in the stand-up. I can see each guy win this fight.
It's the Reaper, who has done it all, but is still here to prove he hasn't reached his peak, going up against the young wolf eager to reach the top. The winner will position themselves perfectly for what they want next.
I'm him, guys. Guys, get the hell out of the door. He is running away from a booth. Tell him sign the...
In the main event of UFC 308, we'll see the biggest featherweight title fight since Conor McGregor faced Jose Aldo in 2014.
You and Ilia would be crazy.
So much fun, brother. I know.
You know what's gonna happen.
The rising undefeated superstar Ilia Topuria will finally put his newly won title on the line against Hawaiian icon and BMF champion Max Holloway. When you think of the UFC featherweight division, you can't help but think of Max Holloway's legendary career. He made his debut at just 20 years old and quickly became a fan favorite, embodying everything a BMF stands for.
On paper, you put down my stats, no one's gonna pick me in a fight. But then there's one thing, there's that mental part. That's that crazy land part. You know what I mean? Like, people don't know what the fuck crazy land is. So I'm willing to do something that I don't know if you even thought of doing it, or if it's presented with you that if you're gonna take that chance.
For years, Max Baruki had no equal at 145 pounds. His relentless pace, constant pressure, and unbreakable chin made him a nightmare for everyone. But then, at UFC 245, Alexander Volkanovski entered the scene and abruptly stopped the freight train.
We're both very high level. You know, it was a chess match in there. He probably wants to get that back. But, man, it's my time. It's the blessed era ends tonight.
Being second place often breaks former champions and marks a turning point in their careers. But like Robert Whittaker, Max Holloway isn't one of those guys.
We still here, you know. I told you guys that was the motto. We still here. Remind them.
I'm not here to call nobody out. I'm just here to be undeniable. Keep being undeniable. I'm keep crawling, scratching my way back to the top of the mountain, and no one's going to stop me getting there.
After both the rematch and trilogy with Volkanovski, Max faced many potential future title challengers and defeated them all, except for one, his opponent on October 26th.
I always wanted to fight for the title. I always want to do this. They gave me a lot of up-and-coming contenders, and then there was one that didn't come up towards my way. So you can ask UFC about that. You can ask him the question.
UFC made me fight every other contender at 45 except for him for a reason. And we're here now, and I'm going to prove why UFC was shelling him away from me.
He knows what's coming. There is no way I'm not gonna knock him out. Whatever you wanna do, boy, I can beat you. If he thinks that I'm not right, prove me wrong. We're gonna be in the same octagon on October 26th. Prove me wrong.
Ilia Topuria's rise to UFC champion has been quick and nearly flawless. He's a ruthless finisher with a Greco-Roman wrestling background, lethal Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills, and sharp, powerful boxing. He's made quick work of nearly everyone he's faced.
There's a bunch of you who have decided to learn about the Ilia Topuria experience the hard way. You could tell that Topuria from his early UFC days was very, very skilled, but his improvement has been rapid, right? This is a guy that primarily was a grappler kind of first. The fact that we barely even associate that with him now, I think kind of tells you about the development of his game.
Topuria is a nightmare.
Yes, he is.
He's a nightmare. What he did to Bryce Mitchell.
Did you say you were going to leave his head as flat as he thinks the earth is before this fight?
Yeah, and I did it.
What he did to Josh Emmett, I was like,
nasty.
Oh, man.
He's nasty.
The featherweight division desperately needed a fresh contender, and after Ilia's brutal back-to-back wins over rising prospect Bryce Mitchell and top contender Josh Emmett, he emerged as the most compelling threat to challenge the dominant champion. Alexander Volkanovski has established himself as the greatest featherweight of all time in the eyes of many, but that hasn't shaken Topuria's confidence.
The best guy in the world. He was the pound for pound for some reason, so he's good. But I feel I'm way better than him anywhere.
I'm gonna put his lights out. I'm gonna put him to sleep without any doubt.
At UFC 298, Topuria backed up every word and became exactly what he had promised.
If you want to come here and take this belt, just make sure that you are good everywhere.
With the door wide open in the division, Max Holloway would likely have been given another shot at the title. However, at this point, he was already set to move up to lightweight for a BMF title fight against Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. This would turn out to be one of the worst mistakes of his career.
Real fans know that even though Holloway may not get KO'd, he does lose this fight, and he gets the shit beat out of him. This is not the marauder that moves forward no matter what, that points down to the canvas and beckons his opponent on. This is the Max Holloway with a mustache and hair that's preparing for retirement.
Not only did Max dominate most of the fight, but he also gave us one of the greatest moments in sports history.
I sell holy shit moments for a living. That was the ultimate holy shit moment of all time. A career-defining moment for a guy who has already accomplished so many great things.
The featherweight champion was in the building tonight. What do you think he learned about you in this fight?
I think he learned that you don't want to fight me even more. Like I said, there's an El Matador that's trying to run away from Abu. He's trying to run away from Abu. The Boo is here, the Boo is ready, and the Boo is here to remind people that the best is blessed.
Topuria versus Holloway has all the makings of one of the greatest fights in recent memory. With their star power and momentum, this matchup is one of the biggest and most intriguing the promotion could have put together.
Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. The fans want to see it. The world wants to see it. The UFC want to put on the fights that people want to see.
Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria, you know, guys, this is so unintentionally the best fight build in a meaningful amount of time. And the reason it's so wonderful is as bad as Topuria needs Max, Topuria is playing it the only way he should, which is I am king, and I am king because I have a belt. I don't care about you.
I already opened a home for all people. Volk already has his room. I have another one for you, and no one's gonna save you once that case gonna be closed, my friend.
No one's gonna save you too, buddy. All this talk, all the everything he's saying, I like to show up. And that's what I do. I show up every time. October 26th, I'll show up.
Yeah, show up and I'm gonna do the rest. Don't worry.
Topuria doesn't have many weaknesses in his game. With his underrated fight IQ, composure, elite grappling, clean boxing, and overwhelming power, he could pose many problems for Holloway. It would be smart for him to mix things up to stay unpredictable, as the last thing you want is for a guy like Max to find his rhythm. Max, meanwhile, has great boxing, solid kicks, effective range control, a relentless pace, and incredible heart and chin. Ilia might test that legendary chin, especially if they're trading blows in the center of the cage, but we can't forget that Max has power too.
When you face a fighter like me inside the octagon, you can't do that. They all say the same. I will be the one who's gonna put him in his place. He's cocky, he's this, he's that, and guess what? I put them in their place, you know?
You are the first guy I asked for. I want Ilia Topuria. I want the easiest fight.
Yeah,
I want Ilia Topuria.
Ilia Topuria doesn't beat you in nice and funny ways. He bludgeons you until you fall asleep against your will. Max Holloway will chop you like a tree until you are so fatigued you cannot even put your hands up anymore. Forget about hitting him back. Forget about throwing a punch back. I have not seen a 145-pound title fight more necessary than this.
A win here is huge for either fighter. Topuria has the chance to continue his undefeated championship reign with both Volkanovski and Holloway on his record, two of the most skilled fighters of this generation. Stopping Max after what he did at UFC 300 would elevate Ilia's star power to new heights and set up a potential mega event for him in Spain. On the other hand, if Max beats Ilia, it would make us rethink his place among the featherweight greats, especially since there seemed to be no path for him to reclaim the title of 145. Max would have endless options ahead of him. His star power has already been massive throughout his career, but defeating a dominant, undefeated talent like Topuria and reclaiming the featherweight title while being the BMF champion would be insane. Plus, there's a potential title opportunity at lightweight on the horizon. This could be a career-defining night for some of the best fighters in the world. No matter what happens, we're in for unforgettable moments that will reshape the UFC landscape.